Pickle, let's go to the hotline, and let's bring in the head coach of those regional finalist Rockwall-Heath Hawks. We're joined by Coach Mike Spradlin. Coach, how are you?
Man, I'm good, Greg. How are you doing?
Well, doing wonderful. How are things in beautiful Rockwall, Texas?
Shoot, they're beautiful in Rockwall, Texas. I mean, we're 1-8, baby. And we're playing on New Year's weekend, so it's awesome here in Rockwall.
That's actually a place that I'd like to start with you, because you're a guy who you've been in the coaching game a long time. You have not coached on Christmas week. You have not coached on New Year's week in a long, long time. I'm interested, going back to last week, going into your game on the day after Christmas with Bridgeland. How did that impact your schedule? How did that impact the way that you guys prepared for Bridgeland, knowing full well that, Friday everybody's going to hang out with their family?
Well, it was different, Greg. Obviously, right? I mean, it was weird, but at the same time, it was a total focus week because it's kind of like, we always talk about playing on Thanksgiving, right? And that's really the only time, and I've never coached, past Christmas. I mean, when we were at Temple, we got to play in the state game at 14, and that was the weekend before Christmas, right? So it's kind of like Thanksgiving week. There's a real total focus because there's not any school, and so we went earlier in the mornings, right? Gave them some family time after we got done, and so it was really good, Greg. Honestly, I mean, we're all fired up. Obviously, you're playing in third round of the playoffs, and you're accomplishing some things you want to accomplish. So, we made hay with it. We felt pretty good about it.
Speaking of focus, you guys came out of the gate super focused against an unbeaten Bridgeland team to win your regional semifinal. Jumped on top of them early and really never let them off the mat. How important was it, and how much did you preach last week, a fast start against a team like that, a team that has firepower, a team is capable of coming back on you? How much did you guys preach getting out of the gates quickly?
Well, I mean, it's something, honestly, Greg, we preach all the time. It's kind of the way we try to approach things is playing fast. And I can't say enough. I mean, our defense has been maligned all year, and we think we're the only ones that know we're any good. So we're trying to keep it a secret, but they did a great job, got an early turnover. We converted 2 early turnovers to touchdowns. And as you know, that's a huge deal, right? In any big game, much less any game period. So that was a big deal for us and a big momentum thing for us. And then we're just playing with a lot of confidence right now, Greg. I mean, we've gotten better. We opened up our district season with Rockwall and honestly had our opportunities there. I mean, we were up, 27-24 with 8 minutes to go in the game, wound up losing it. But then we kind of gone on a run, since then. So we're getting better and better. Got a bunch of young guys. Brought a bunch of young guys from last year, and I'm real tickled with the way our defense is starting to step up.
You mentioned that. You mentioned the youth. We're talking with Mike Spradlin, the head coach at Rockwall-Heath, and that's been one of the things that I've been really impressed with. Is it seems like, and I don't know if you agree with this, but it seems to me, from my perspective, y'all are a year early. Y'all are a year ahead of schedule. I was expecting you guys to be here 2021. Now 2020. How, have you felt that from the young guys? Have you seen that growth throughout the season? Go back to tough matchups with South Lake Carroll and Louisville and Rockwall and non-district. Have you seen that growth from your youngsters that now basically they're fundamentally seniors at this point?
Well, absolutely. And that kind of started, honestly, last year, Greg. We started 8 sophomores last year and carried 19 on our varsity with us. So, those guys have gotten back up. Obviously 2019 was our first year here, and we think we had our opportunities then. We lost a couple of close games that would have got us in the playoffs. And so our expectation level, we're not necessarily exceeding our expectation level. We may be exceeding, a lot of other people's, but I mean, this is what we dreamed about doing now. I mean, now the COVID thing threw a lot of kinks in it, but we've handled it really, really well. Our kids, handled it well, had a great summer, and now here we are.
We're talking with Mike Spradlin, the head coach of the Rockwall-Heath Hawks here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, #TF Today. Coach, I could ask you about any number of your individual playmakers, but one guy that I know has really caught people's attention lately is your junior wide receiver, Jay Fair. Here's a guy who's over 1,200 yards receiving, 12 touchdowns on the year. He's been a big part of your offense. The numbers say one thing and the film says another thing, but when you're the guy who sees him every day in practice, what is it about Jay Fair that sets him apart?
Well, Jay's kind of like what we think, all our Heath guys are. I mean, what Jay gets in games is exactly what you get in practice with him. We're real big on that. And by the way, we think, that's kind of the way all our guys are playing. I mean, Corbin Cleveland's a young man that's, got over 2,000 yards in 2 years we've been here, and he made a great catch the other day, and he made it because, he makes them in practice like that. Our kids are just real hard practice guys. Jay's one of those guys. Jay's a team captain for us. So is Corbin. And those guys are they're great leaders on the field. Jay's a great junior leader for us. Corbin's a great senior leader for us. And so, I think what we're seeing on game days is what we get all week long. They're great effort guys. Jay's a great effort guy and really phenomenally talented.
On the defensive side, you mentioned that the defense has probably been unfairly maligned this year. Early in the season, gave up some gaudy point totals here and there, but they do seem to have come around in a big way, especially as the lights have gotten brighter. What do you think has been the biggest difference on the defensive side from maybe the way that you started to where you guys are right now?
Well, I think it's just confidence and belief. You're right. I mean, we gave up a lot of points against Louisville in the first game and won, and then gave up, a lot of points against South Lake and lost, but we were in that game going into the fourth quarter. We had a one-score game. So we knew we were good enough. And then I think really where it flipped, Greg, was in week 3. We played McKinney Boyd, who wound up being in the playoffs, and shut him out. So that shutout thing kind of gave us confidence that we could do it. And we've just seen steady, consistency and improvement really since that game. And we've just had a whole different feeling. And honestly, Garland, we thought, was extremely talented. I mean, they've got some really good cats, and to limit those guys to 14 points and then turn around in the Temple team that we beat, in round 2 was pretty prolific offensively. So we're playing with a lot of confidence right now. And that's a couple of guys. Grady Brewer, a linebacker for us, is a great leader for us, a senior captain, Trey Martin on our defensive line, Jackson Luff on our defensive line. Those are some seniors that are really, really playing well for us right now, Greg.
I want to go back a few years ago. You take Temple to a state championship game in 2014. The year after that, you guys are in a state semifinal. You have coached in the biggest games. You have been around teams that have that state championship caliber mentality. Can you put into terms what maybe sets apart a good team from a great team, and are you seeing that with this brand of Hawks?
Well, I think obviously, it's talent, right? I mean, you got to have kids, and we've got them. I mean, we've got a quarterback that's phenomenal, and our old line's playing unbelievably good, and and then now we're playing great defense as well. So that, it starts with that, but it's also, it's an overused word, Greg, but the culture thing's a big deal, right? Mm-hmm. So, our guys bought into the belief that, I mean, honestly, they'd only been in one 6A playoff game in the history of the school, and here we are getting to play in our 4th one this year. So there's a confidence level that comes with that, and of course I've got a great staff of guys. Our relationship with our kids are awesome, and they've really bought into what we're doing. I mean, I think everybody does at this point, and I don't think it's any secret. We think we can win it. I mean, mm-hmm. If you don't think you can, then you won't, right? So. These guys have that going on right now. We don't think it's magic, by the way. We think it's hard work and effort and playing hard and believing each other and all that. We had those things in place at Temple, and it's been a faster turn here mm-hmm. maybe than it was at Cooper and Temple, the last 2 stops I've had. So this has come around a little faster than I thought it would, but when I got here, but not faster than I thought it would, honestly, Greg, going into this year. I knew we had a chance to be pretty good.
Well, the bad news is, Coach, you're done playing football in 2020, but the good news is you still got another game. Saturday, 3:15 at Globe Life Park in Arlington. You guys draw the Cedar Hill Longhorns for a spot in the state semifinal. I'm certainly not going to ask you to give away your game plan here on the air, but I know you're already hard at work. When you take a look at what you're up against next week against Cedar Hill, what do you see?
Well, I mean, it's Cedar Hill. We ran into those guys when I was at Temple in the playoffs in 2013, and they went on and won the state championship. And Carlos has done just taking over what Joey was doing, and they're extremely talented. They're not pretenders, they're contenders. They play hard, they believe in what they're doing. They're real good at what they do. They're extremely fast, and then the Salter kid at quarterbacks, I mean, he's phenomenal, honestly. I mean that kid's I mean, he can make it happen. He's really, really good. So, we just know we got to go out and be us. I mean, they're going to be saying the same thing. It's really the same formula we've tried to use the last couple of weeks. Is if you believe in what we do, they'll believe in what they're doing, and somebody's got to go out and win it. So we know we're in the hunt, and I know they are too. They're very, very talented, Greg, very fast.
He's Mike Spradlin. He's the head coach of those regional finalists, Rockwall-Heath Hawks. Coach, really appreciate your time. Again, congratulations on the fantastic win last week, and go get them on Saturday.
Thanks, Greg. Appreciate all you guys do, man. You know that. Y'all are awesome.
Appreciate you, Coach. Take care. There he goes, Mike Spradlin, the head coach. Rockwall-Heath Hawks.